on to talk about on the program today. If you're new to the stream, subscribe. Everyone like the video as the invasion of the United States is about to begin from our southern border. I mean, this is the largest land invasion in the history of the United States against our country. And nothing's being done about it. Here we go. All right. I'm Brian. It is, if you can believe it already, Tuesday. I kind of forgot about Monday, but it's Tuesday. Welcome, everyone. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio this year. And man, do we have a lot to talk about. Right now, the largest land force ever assembled against the United States homeland is on the move. You know, after 9/11, you guys got to think about these things, you know. After 9/11, they started the Homeland Security Agency, right? The Homeland Security Department. It's an entire agency of the government, the Department of Homeland Security. And we were supposed to have this department to respond to threats against our homeland. I can think of no greater threat facing the homeland of the United States right now than a number larger than anyone can put a number on. Let's be honest here, right? Tens of thousands and a nonstop flow of people entering the United States illegally from our southern border. And, you know, just even if they were all law-abiding angels, which they're not, but even if they were, just the fact that it puts an incredible stress on all of the systems of not just the federal government, but the states on the southern border is enough to be a threat to the homeland, isn't it? What good is the Department of Homeland Security if they are not protecting the homeland? You know, I wonder, so much crime occurs with the illegals that come into this country, right? All kinds of crimes, violent crimes, sometimes murders. Well, you know, I've talked about this before. When I was a kid, there was a friend of the family was murdered right here in Florida by two illegals from Mexico. And, I mean, this is really a sad occurrence. I remember the first Trump rally I went to, it was in Boca. And they had a bunch of speakers that came up before President Trump, and one of them was one of the most dramatic speakers I ever heard. It was a woman whose son was murdered by an illegal in high school. He was in high school, and they threw his body in a dumpster, but not until after they burned the body. 17-year-old kid. And I remember there was this liberal loon who infiltrated the rally, and when that woman was speaking in very graphic detail about what this illegal did to her son, this liberal just went nuts, calling her a liar, screaming names at her. You know, we understand what's going on here with the Democrats. You know, Biden does everything for the same reason, to get paid, right? The big guy. He gets his 10%. We know what Biden's all about. But what is it about with Democrats? What's going on with Democrats? Why are Democrats, I'm talking about like rank and file voter Democrats. I'm not talking about the politicians. They're all corrupt. I'm talking about people who support Democrats, who vote Democrat. Why would they support an open border? And I think it's really obvious here. You know, it's incredibly obvious. And I know this is not politically correct to say, but there is a lot of truth to the great replacement theory that Tucker Carlson talked about. You know, the Democrats have lost control of the country. The only reason they have any influence is because they still have control in some major urban areas, California, New York, you know, Chicago area. But outside of these dumpy cities where crime is high and people are afraid to even go to work in the morning because who knows what could happen to you, they're losing power. And what they're doing here is bringing in a new group of people to be dependent upon them. Democrats maintain power through a variety of reasons. One of them we talk about a lot. They're big in dividing people, racial divisions, religious divisions, gender divisions. With all their new stuff that's going on, Christian against gay, gay against Christian, Christians against abortion. All they do is create divisions. In fact, most of the divisions, and maybe pretty much all of them, I'm trying to think of one that's not, but the major divisions in our country are all divisions that are created by Democrats. Like yesterday on The View, the ladies on The View were talking about how you can be black and be a white supremacist and white nationalist yesterday. And this was like a real discussion. There's been this war against anything white. To be white is to be racist, they tell you. This is what critical race theory is about. Even a baby, if it's white, right out of the womb is a racist. This is what they've been telling people. And the Democrats have lost control. They've lost power. There really are no longer these past groups that have been dependent upon them have moved on from the Democrat Party. The unions are all pretty much gone. Minorities are moving to the Republican Party in huge numbers, all of them, gays, blacks, legal Hispanic immigrants. So they're bringing in a group of people, and it's not a racial thing. The replacement theory is not a racial thing. They're bringing in a group of people from Latin America who are the poorest of the poor, even in their own countries. It's a peasant class. And they bring them here and give them what? Everything. Home, food, and education for their children. Their children can even get a college education for free. Right? So they've got this whole new group of people that they're bringing here that are dependent on them. That's what a lot of this is about. And, the Democrats, as a party, as a movement, are pretty patient. Rank and file Democrats are out of control and don't seem to have any patience, but the Democrat Party is playing a long game here. The birth rate is way down in this country, way down. It's way down for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons it's down is because of all this gender stuff that's going on. People of childbearing years are having less reproductive sex than ever before because half of them are gay, another quarter are trans, another quarter don't know what they are, and then there's the other quarter that's trying, but they can't find anybody because everybody's a different gender or something. And the number of people coming across the border far surpasses the birth rate, which is on decline in this country. So there is a desperate shift by the Democrats to maintain power by bringing in an endless flow of people. It's hard for me to even believe there are people left in South America. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. When we get back, I want to talk a little bit more about what's going on before I go to the phones. But you're welcome to call in at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. There's a lot of questions about what's going on at the southern border. And make no mistake about it, this is an invasion of the United States and a major threat to the homeland. With the number of criminals that come across that border, how many people will die or be raped or beaten or robbed or some other way victimized by people coming across this border illegally that is starting this week with Title 42 being lifted? Is it possible more Americans will die than even on 9/11 from these people that are coming here, many of them criminals? All right, our number toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. We'll be right back. Don't sit on the sidelines. Yeah, guys, you got to call me today and share your thoughts. I mean, this is This is insane what's going on right now. It's completely insane. This is something like we've never experienced before. And it's happening in numbers all at once higher than ever before, too. I mean, this is just... It's criminal what's going on. The House Republicans should impeach Joe Biden just on this. They could impeach him 12 times this week. But this one should be right at the top. They should impeach Joe Biden this week just based on what's happening at the southern border. Do you guys agree or disagree with that? I don't see how you could disagree. I mean, this is something that it's not happening by accident. It's happening by design. There's a plan. There's an organization. I'm going to talk about that when we get back from the break, because there is, without question, a major organization going on. It is not a distraction. It is not a distraction. This is a serious attack on the nation. You know, a lot of people are pretty arrogant. If it's an issue in the news they're not interested in, it's a distraction. This is not a distraction. This is one of the main things that it's all about, what's going on here at the southern border. Well, anyone who calls themselves what you call yourselves is someone that I really don't want to have any association with, tell you the truth, with a disgusting name like yours. I'm not even going to say your name. Exactly. In fact, there we go. Yeah, this is just one of those days, people. It's just, this is really a sad day. Oh yeah, there's a lot to talk about with it. I'm going to get into all of it. I got a few more things to say before I take calls, but it's got to be talked about. And this is an invasion of the United States. Where's the Homeland Security Department? What's even the point of having a Homeland Security Department if they're not protecting the homeland? Did I switch carriers? Why do you ask, Craig's Creek? Switch carriers? Why do you ask, Craig's Creek? I'll make a change to fix that. You got to give me a minute. I'll make a change to fix that. Give me a minute and I'll fix that during the next break. I just can't do it right now. All right, welcome one and all. If you're on hold, stand by. We're talking about this just invasion that's about to take place. There's a lot of things to talk about involving this invasion at our southern border, all right? I've been watching a lot of the video from the southern border that's new. And can we even put a number? Whatever the media says is a very conservative number. The number is much higher than what anyone's projecting or saying, okay? So whatever the number is, we're never going to know, and it's going to be an endless stream. But I'm watching the updated video of the southern border, and there's a lot of people down there. Some of it's aerial, some of it's on the road. You can't even see the ground. There's so many people, the roads are completely covered with people, right? But there's a few things about this that no one in the media is talking about. This invasion of the United States with this invading force that's, well, they're already crossing, really. But this invading force very well is the largest movement of humans by land maybe since the Civil War in this country, when they were moving entire armies. To move that many people, do you know what type of operation that takes? food, water. And I'll tell you, do these people look like they've been walking hundreds or thousands of miles? No. No. What type of operation is involved with moving such a large number of people and being able to have enough food, water, and other facilities to take care of them? There is a military-like operation. There is an entire supply chain involved in this. So who's organizing the supply chain? It's done with military precision. Whoever is organizing it has military experience, upper-level military experience. Whoever is running this would have to have military experience in a supply chain that is at least had been in the military at the rank of a colonel, maybe even a general. It's too well organized. Also, they're clean, so they're bathing. Right? So there's an entire system here. How much food and water does it take a day to maintain a group that large moving across really what is some rough territory, right? And it's a very hot time of year. It takes a lot of food and a lot of water. And there's a lot of other things involved too. And who's paying for it? And no one in the media seems to want to get to the supply chain issue involved in all of this. And there's a major supply chain issue involved in this. What it is? Well, we don't really know. Because the media are not asking the questions. They just got drone footage, interview a union guy from Border Patrol or something. But there's a lot of big issues that they're not getting into. Someone is paying a lot of money, hundreds of millions of dollars, to have a supply chain maintaining a movement this large. They also have clothing and shoes. And when you see the people that are walking on these roads towards the United States, their clothes look relatively new. They're not dressed all fancy or anything. But when I see them on television, I look at their clothes. I notice they look to have had haircuts. They get haircuts more often than I do. And when I can, although it's hard to see from the television coverage, I try to look at the shoes. They have nice shoes because it's a long walk. So who's paying for all of this, and who is behind the supply chain to keep this movement fed and with water? And you got to have medical teams along the way too, which is also a lot. Not just money, but a lot of people. My goodness. You go to a Trump rally, how many people have heat stroke? And you're talking about a large movement with children, women, people of all ages across desert-like terrain this time of year? Who's behind it? It's easy to say the cartels, and they're probably doing a lot of it. But my guess would be China. China has been coordinating with the cartels for a long time. The entire fentanyl crisis is a collaboration between China, the Mexican government, and the cartels, although the Mexican government and the cartels are one and the same. I've talked about this a lot. The fentanyl crisis that's going on in this country, the fentanyl is made at pharmaceutical facilities in China. The Chinese put it on ships and they sail it to Mexican ports on the Pacific side of Mexico. The fentanyl is given to the cartels, and then they put it to people, put it in people's bags and pockets and everything that are walking across the border. The fentanyl crisis not only is it an attack, it's a big attack on this country by China. The Chinese have allied, the CCP, have allied with the cartels in the fentanyl crisis. So my guess would be that the logistics going into this, the largest movement of humans since the United States Civil War into the United States, is being organized and paid for by China, the CCP. And they probably got a lot of allies they're working with, but mainly the drug cartels. That's it. I mean, this is a direct attack on the United States. And I'm not anti-immigrant. Don't let them tell you you're anti-immigrant. I'm very pro-immigrant, but you got to do it legally. This isn't immigration. This is an attack. And I know there's a lot of branches and a lot of sub areas to go into, and I'm doing a broad brush here. But I believe that this is all being done by China. It's too well organized, too many people, takes too much funding, and takes too many supplies. And, the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union was nothing compared to this. Most of the Cold War, I know there were not all of it, Korea, Vietnam, there were things, but most of the Cold War was just propaganda. Radio Free America, Soviets taking over the anti-war movement during Vietnam, all these things went on. Most of it was propaganda. Not all of it, but most of it was propaganda. China, the Chinese people are some of the smartest in the world. I remember when I was in school, the smartest kids in my class were always Chinese. Oh my goodness. I remember a girl like in first grade. I remember her name like it was yesterday. She was from Hong Kong. And she was doing like algebra, like in first and second grade. We didn't even know what algebra was. She was so smart. The Chinese, the CCP, have taken this beyond a Cold War. We are not in a Cold War with the CCP. We're in a real war. And this invasion on the southern border is a CCP, Red China, Chinese, People's Republic of China, whatever label you want to use. It's an invasion of this country by China, in my opinion. And I welcome yours. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. I'll take some calls after the break. But I want to hear your thoughts on everything I've shared so far. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. Now, I got some other topics I want to talk about later in the program, but I'd like your calls to focus in on this invasion of the USA that is about to take place. 1-888-465-2631. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig, and don't forget, you can listen to us in all kinds of ways, including Alexa, play True Oldies FLA. Hey, Google, play True Oldies FLA. We'll be right back. Do you agree or disagree, yes or no, that China's behind this? Do you agree or disagree, yes or no? Let me know, guys. Let me know what you all think. Just a yes or no, is China behind it? So I got a little lag here, so I'm going to restart the stream, guys, okay? I'll be right back. Today. But just give me, we'll see if it's going to give it another minute, and then I'll start a new stream if I have to. But just give me, we'll see. All right, I'm going to start a new stream, so you guys be back with me in a few minutes, okay?